Hello, I'm Thomas Haire, Chief Content Officer of the Performance-Driven Marketing Institute, a not-for-profit trade association that serves companies in the performance and direct-to-consumer marketing world. Welcome to the latest episode of Take 20, created by the PDMI's Brand Response Council. These 20-minute live conversations featuring leaders in the performance marketing world speaking about the hottest topics in the industry are scheduled twice a month. Before we get to today's conversation, a quick housekeeping note. We'll be addressing any questions from the audience at the end of the session. Don't have to wait to ask them though. Utilize the questions tab in your control panel to type and send your question in. We'll be collecting them and we'll try to get to as many as possible in the final moments of the episode. Today's episode is a preview of PDMI East, the association's upcoming event at Eden Roc Miami Beach on March 13th through 15th. What can attendees expect from this event? With 9 educational sessions and 2 outdoor evening networking parties, PDMI East will again feature the kind of education and networking that its members and past attendees have grown accustomed to and actually grown to love as we move past this latest wave of the pandemic and people again grow comfortable with travel and events. What will be the standout moments of the PDMI's latest show? I've got Modern Postcard's Chris Foster, the head of the Brand Response Council, here with me today. He's going to pepper me with some questions about the event, and I'm going to do my best to give some answers. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody in Miami. We're going to give you some feel for what you're going to come into. So, Chris, hit me.
All right. Well, firstly, thank you so much for having us, and thank you for the event, right? I think that, I won't speak for everybody at the PDMI ecosystem, but I'll definitely speak for me. And I'm just grateful that you and John and the PDMI team are moving forward with the in-person live event in Miami. I thought that San Diego was a hit. There was definitely a degree of uncertainty as we headed into the winter months, but you guys persisted and kept with it and kept the faith, and lo and behold, we've got a show. So congratulations, and we're very looking forward to seeing you and the team there and everybody at PDMI in the PDMI universe. So thank you for having the show and getting us all together.
Thanks, Chris. It's creating trade shows is not like it used to be. Hopefully, come this summer, when we're working on San Diego again, they will be a little bit more like that. But the payoff here is close. I know I'm traveling a week from tomorrow down to Miami tomorrow, Thursday night. So we're getting close. The PDMI universe, as you called it, our members, our followers, our attendees, our sponsors, they're the ones who are due a lot of the credit for this coming off. They have responded and shown great faith in what we do. And, in mid-January, early to mid-January, it was pretty tough. Was not feeling great about the event coming off. We were hopeful then that all the news about South Africa and the UK having the big spike and the big fall off would happen in the US. And lo and behold, that did happen. And as soon as that happened, man, people piled in. We had a huge month of registration in February, but we were only able to keep going to get to that point because of the support mainly of our sponsors. Most of our sponsoring companies for this event had locked in prior to the Omicron situation, and nobody pulled out. Everybody kept their hand in, and so our members, our sponsors, thank you. It's because of you we're having this.
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody. And what I'd like to ask you about, Thomas, is especially thanks to the councils that you put together. So e-commerce council, the brand response council, Hispanic council, the legal and privacy councils. From what I've looked at in terms of the educational session, you've really taken advantage of the councils to put the program together, especially on that first day.
Yeah, day one, we've been marketing that day now since probably mid-December as Council Education Day, and we're very fortunate to have 5 very, very active member councils with the PDMI. And we started with 3 councils back in the summer of 2019. We've added 2 since then. Everyone who's been on these councils has done such great work, especially during the pandemic. We went from having no webinars at all to, we've run close to 120 separate webinars now during the pandemic. And a lot of that is due to the Brand Response Council, the Workshop Council, the E-commerce Council, the Government Affairs Council, and the U.S. Hispanic Council. Those are our 5 groups. So we do like to highlight them and the work they're doing at these shows. We thought with this event, what better way than to highlight them than to package their sessions on one day and call it Council Education Day, show the strength of what they're working on, show the power of their knowledge, show their wisdom, and really show how on the cutting edge of performance marketing these folks really are. And these are our members. They are tremendous. They do great work for us always, but if you look at these 5 sessions on Monday, powerful stuff and timely.
Well,
stuff.
yeah, speaking of timely, I'd love to even dive into one of the sessions I'm really looking forward to, promoted and developed by the E-commerce Council, and the timely session of Packages Lost at Sea, the supply chain lifesaver. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had Michael Gravey, a professor from Bryant University, in our Take 20 to talk about supply chain issues. Really insightful stuff, things that I never knew about in terms of, you know, the U.S. port system, in terms of our lack of automation, in terms of the competitive nature of other ports worldwide, of contingencies and frictions put in place by our own policies. So I'm very much looking forward to how E-commerce Council is going to talk about supply chain, because it's something that's affecting everyone.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And, you know, this is again showing the effectiveness of multiple councils. Obviously, Brand Response Council put together a 2-part series on the supply chain in February, and this Take 20 outlet. And to your point about Michael on the last episode of Take 20, just a tremendous wealth of knowledge about this. The E-commerce Council came up with the idea to touch on supply chain for e-commerce marketers around about the same time the Brand Response Council said, let's talk about supply chain for Take 20. So it was kind of our job on our end to make sure that you guys, without looking like it, served as a tee up for this, and these guys, without looking like it, serve as a kind of a closer for what you guys were doing. You know, I think we've got a great group here, 3 marketers from, you know, with 3 different kind of concepts of how they're going to market products and bring products to market, 3 different concepts of manufacturing, 3 different, like, all of these facets to it, and then talking about how they bring these products and how they fulfill their e-com funnel, how they might have to struggle and pull things from the retail funnel, whatever that might be, that conversation, and moderated by Greg Silvano of Biased. Greg is the chair of our E-commerce Council. He's a natural, much like you, Chris, in hosting sessions like these. We're looking forward to what's going to be a really strong conversation. Obviously, Amit Kubani from Ontel, who's on this, you had him on one of the supply chain conversations as well. He's tremendous. Steve Silviger from Top Dog, Paul Walgren from Beauty Stack Cosmetics, who was brought in by another member of our Ecom Council, the folks over at DFO Global. Should be a great conversation, a great way to kick off the event, talking about something that's extremely top of mind for marketers everywhere.
That's right. You know, and speak of the marketers, one of the things that has been a prevalent topic the last year or so is marketing into the Hispanic community. And so one of the things that comes with that, of course, is the attribution. How do you figure out that media attribution? You know, where do you track the responsibility for a sales or a lead? So I think it's really interesting. The U.S. Hispanic Council is just rolling up sleeves and diving in to this topic.
Yeah, I think the second aspect of this, you know, we call it the 2-pronged attack. The second aspect of attribution, you know, did this come from Spanish language or general market media? You know, that adds a whole different level to your marketing plan there, you know, and to your attribution concept. So Marcelino Miares from D&H Partners is our moderator. He's also the chair of the U.S. Hispanic Council. Pulled this idea together. Again, showing some great work here by bringing in Danira Barrero from OmniDirect, who's also on the U.S. Hispanic Council. Nicholas Pietropinto from Luminous Direct, a great marketer with a lot of extensive experience in this space. And then they snagged Shira Whittleson of RSLT, who's actually on our Brand Response Council. Shira's doing some work and some research along with Marcelino and D2H on attribution in this space. So I think it's going to bring a really interesting look at this space. And you know, I think as a marketer, you think about 900 different ways of attribution, but then you get into a Spanish language versus English language attribution part of the pie, and I don't think a lot of people are thinking about that. So should be very interesting.
Yeah, and then right afterwards is our panel for the Brand Response Council, and folks, what we're going to be talking about is reducing frictions and solving problems. I just did the warm up yesterday with Shane Allor, Doug Bogner, and Sean Robertson, who will be on the panel yesterday, and boy, I sure wish we could have recorded it. It just worked so well, and these guys are just top of the line, masters of their craft. And so, I'm going to be sitting back after, launching a couple of questions, but really what we're talking about is, the new frictions that are arising because of the pandemic, new frictions that are generational, right? Brands have to consider ethics and social issues, and that's a brand new friction they didn't have before. What about talent? How do you hire talent, nurture talent? What kind of talent do businesses need in the future, especially the skill sets that are required for success? That's another friction within an organization. So we're going to be talking about how do you identify frictions that are naturally in your organization, but also in the space and in the industry. And then, of course, how you remove and reduce those frictions, and some great case examples that we've learned, especially during the pandemic, about businesses being very nimble and removing those frictions between themselves and the customers. And that is a very strong path towards growth for any brand or business. So very excited about that.
I'm looking forward to it. To your point, Chris, we should have just recorded that. We could have thrown it up on the video screen and all got a cocktail and let people watch it. But that conversation yesterday was very enlightening on my end. I think what's a little bit different about this session to me is that most of the other sessions are very specifically directed to a topic, a hot specific topic in the industry. And this is just much more of like a thought leadership. It's a bigger picture. I think the conversation is going to be really one that people are going to enjoy, especially after yesterday. So
yeah, that's terrific. And then towards getting into the afternoon, thinking of the Government Affairs Council putting me on kind of the FTC targets and pushing out notices and statements of how do you manage this, right? How do you manage the privacy? How do you manage automatic renewals and endorsements and testimonial?
Yep.
How do you actually see the confluence of consumer behaviors plus privacy mandates that have to be in place, plus the natural Federal Trade Commission's job of managing and regulating everything?
It's I actually had my first call with this group because I'm moderating this panel as I tend to usually do. I had my first call with the group on Tuesday, and there's so much action from the FTC level right now. The new FTC chair is kind of in ready, shoot, aim mode. They're definitely lots of different angles and areas that they're touching on. You can see some of them on the description of the session if you go to our website. Automatic renewals, endorsements and testimonials, online reviews. Good Lord, what a situation that is. And then of course dark patterns, which is an actual issue, not not an offshoot of Stranger Things on Netflix. It's not a new series. It's actually dark patterns, which has to do a little bit with using certain language to loop people into subscription products and different language, different modes of creating your website, so forth and so on. So there's a lot of stuff the FTC is focused on. We're trying to keep it to like 3 or 4 really key topics that are happening right now. We're going to kind of try to take a look at as a consumer comes down the funnel, because the FTC and other regulators are looking at every part of that marketing funnel. So that's kind of the direction we're taking it.
Well, what I love about that is that topic is a perfect tie-in to what comes right afterwards, which is data without the apples and the cookies, right? So thinking about the FTC and regulations and moving into the actual brass tacks of the data for performance marketers, right?
Yeah.
How you navigate, how you actually put that together. The Workshop Council's put this one together, right, Tom?
Right. The Workshop Council has put this together, and you got to give them some credit, because there's not an actual Workshop Council person on it. They went and got who they thought were the best people to actually talk about this topic. It was very solid, selfless effort by the Workshop Council to find the best people to target this. The good thing is they've found people from 3 PDMI member companies to do it. So Michael Weinstein, the moderator, we're looking forward to having him on stage. He's done a lot of moderating over the years, a lot of expertise from both the product and the agency side in his career. And Daniel Alfonso from Digital Target Marketing, Brian Hadrian of Avocado are in this. They're in this every single day, dealing with this for their clients. for their agency clients, for their marketer clients, whoever they might be. So this should be a really, again, this topic is incredible, is as important as supply chain right now, if not more so. How are we as performance marketers going to be able to best optimize our data as these companies continue to respond to concerns about privacy issues? And that's a huge thing. You know, at the end of this session, we're all going to need that drink after 5 sessions like this. So let me just say before we get into Tuesday stuff, 2 great networking parties. Right. Monday night, 5:30 to 7:30, out back at the Eden Roc's Garden and Aquatica pool. That one is sponsored by Extreme Reach, and should be a great time for everyone to get together on Monday night, right around sunset. As we all know, Spring Forward happens on Saturday night right before the show, so we should have some nice sunset time there until at least 7 o'clock. And then Tuesday night, Lockett and Wexler Direct are bringing everyone back together at the Sky Terrace there, which is kind of an overlook above the pool that'll have some beachside views and so forth. Great way to close out the show. So it should be, you know, tremendous, really great stuff.
And Thomas, as someone who's going to be at the show, I'm really grateful for those sponsors for creating those networking events, right? The education is going to be top notch. Super excited to learn from the industry experts there, but boy, I'm looking forward to those network events, right? I mean, there's something irreplaceable about meeting someone face to face, right? And talking to folks and seeing old friends that you might have seen on Zoom or over the phone and seeing them in real life person, but also meeting new people, right? So even in San Diego, I was able to meet some folks that I'd never met before, right? And extended the network and extended my professional circle of friends, because the PDMI is it's more like a family and an ecosystem than just business people trying to make a hustle. Right? It's people who are actually learning from one another, working with one another, and being a part of this overall community. I'm really excited to be back at a family reunion.
Yeah, Greg, it's very true. I don't think that it felt like a real thing. And to your point, in San Diego, you know, we went through the first day and you're like, okay, this is an event and it's great and whatever, but it didn't feel like the real deal until we showed up at that first party. And then you're like, holy Moses, man, thank God, because like I was thinking, I'm going to go up the elevator to this party there in San Diego, and there's either going to be 12 people standing around staring at me, or it's going to feel like 2019. And fortunately, it was the latter of those two. We had a great crowd at both networking events. We expect great crowds at both networking events for this as well. So we do thank Extreme Reach and Lockett and Wexler for their support in putting those on. We also have to thank Paymerang, who is our educational sponsor, helping put on the event, helping make sure that we have all of our AV needs taken care of, helping make sure that everything runs smoothly when we're in these sessions. So again, our sponsors, huge key to the entire event.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're at 11:20 right now. What I'd love to do is just kind of talk about what happens on Tuesday. What I love the end of the day where you start connecting not only linear TV, but right after that, connected TV is kind of a really interesting pairing. And on the first part of the day, data automation and creative. So it sounds like it's kind of these nice 2 pairings of thought ideas and really helpful workshops, so someone can take away with new ideas that they can bring to the office back when they go back to work.
Yeah, and they're also it's also a kind of a more of the PDMI building on what we've been talking about over the last few months. This data automation session, conversation between Cordy De Pascal of Premium Media 360 and Kevin Gaffney of Core Media Systems is going to build off of a webinar we did in September that both of them sat on with a couple other folks talking about this topic and talking about how important this is going to continue to be as we move into the future of TV and digital video and so forth and so on, and being able to continue to automate your technology from an agency and marketer perspective. You know, but what are you automating? You're automating the creative. You're automating you're buying the media, you're automating all the processes for the media, but you buy the media to put the creative on air. And again, this is another piece that's built off of something that the PDMI already did, or actually Blue Water's Rob Fallon already did. He wrote a column for our December issue of our quarterly magazine called Results about creative services. And reading and rereading that column and copy editing it and rereading it again, I thought this could really make for the base of what could be a really interesting session. And he reached out. I said, hey, Rob and Blue Water team, what do you think about this? He reached out to Fern Lee, who's on our e-commerce council, another tremendous expert in the creative space, and I can't wait to see what they put together. Just the two of them in conversation about this topic. There's going to be so many nuggets for people. I can't even imagine. So those two sessions are just going to be great way to kick off the last day.
Yeah, and what I think is so interesting to hear is just the insights from experts, right? Getting a peek into the mind and getting normally you'd have to pay thousands of dollars for that consulting service, but here they are actually live in front of you, sharing their wisdom and knowledge. I think that's fantastic. And then, as the media gets expressed, it gets expressed on both linear and connected TV. What a perfect way to close out the educational session on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's funny. We people who are followers of us know that we're always going to have a panel of media outlet executives. It's always going to happen. What's happening with them is always of import to everybody along this chain that works through the performance marketing world. So our noon session on Thursday is just that, or on Tuesday, the 15th is just that, with Christine Georgakakis from Reels, Kevin Hayes from American Target Network, Mark Sullivan, formerly Viacom CBS, now known as Paramount, and moderated by Michelle Green of 212 Direct. They're going to be taking a look at the kind of the lay of the land from the linear TV perspective. There's so much buzz about connected TV out there. How is that affecting the linear space? Are there more opportunities on the linear space? What are linear TV salespeople finding to offer to their clients? How close is that connection with their connected TV side? These are questions that we're going to probably touch on in this session. Then we flip it around in the last session of the show, and we've never done this before, so it's a new one for us. But can't believe it took us this long to have this light bulb go on, but it did. Let's have a media outlet person moderate 3 agency folks and talk about what they're seeing out there. This one's coming at it from much more the connected TV perspective, which will really line in with the March issue of Results Magazine, which will be on hand at the trade show, where we had responses from 9 different media agencies about questions around connected TV. 3 of those folks have raised their hand and are willing to take part in a live session. So it should be a really interesting look at the opportunities that are out there in connected TV from the agency and marketer perspective. Still the challenges, where they see this going over the next 18 months, so forth and so on. So really, it should be a really fun afternoon where we hear the breadth of what's happening on the media side of this business from both the outlet and the agency side. Again, and by the end of that, we're going to need another drink. And so Lockard and Wexler is going to step in at 5:30 and hook us up.
Yes.
So yeah, it should be a great way to close out the show.
Looking forward to it. So excited to be there. And again, from a human side, really looking forward to seeing people making those connections, seeing old friends and meeting new ones, right? And I think that what I love about this show in particular is that it's a show, like I said, of like-minded, familial folks in the same industry, building and working with each other to help the industry grow overall. So very excited to see everybody and see how we can all help each other.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. So I got to ask you, what are you looking forward to the most?
I think that it is a handful of really small, meaningful conversations. The networking is great, and you meet a lot of people, and you talk with folks. But in San Diego, in particular, I met people that I never met before. We talked about our kids, right? We talked about our families. We talked about what they're going through. We talked about how you balance life and work. You talk about what the next stage of your career path looks like. What is that arc? And it's a human conversation, right? It's a human conversation with a professional, and we're all thinking about the same things. How do I balance my life and my work and my family, the arc of my career, the exploration of things that I'm interested in, contributing and giving to the community at large where I can, and we're all going through that same journey at different stages of the journey. And so for me, you have a couple of those really great intimate conversations along with meeting other people. I'm really looking forward to that, beyond all the education that we're going to get.
That's great. That's great. And I feel like, the atmosphere is right for that. The personalization of things, I noticed in San Diego, it stepped up even more than pre-pandemic, just because we've all gone through these same things together, right? So it's great to hear. We did get a question or two that I'm going to hit really quickly from the audience. One, can I buy badges on site? When does online registration close? Online registration closes, I'm going to guess about 11 p.m. on the evening of Thursday, March 10th. It's about the time I should get to my hotel room and flip open my laptop and close it down. March 10th is the cutoff. I'm going to leave it open until after my flight. And then once we close that down, then because we have to get our badges all handled over the weekend, we will reopen registration on site on Sunday morning, March 13th at 10 a.m. So that's again, and it does pay to get your badges in advance. That's a $100 discount on each badge, whether you're a member or a non-member, if you book in advance rather than showing up and paying on site. So worthwhile. Good question. And then the other key question of the day, I have not yet secured my hotel room. Well, I have to tell you, we just sold out the block officially yesterday. The block had been officially closed on February 21st. We've been piecemealing a few rooms in with the assistance of the Eden Roc over the last week or so, but we have reached sold out status. We are pulling together a waiting list for rooms if rooms wash out over the next week or so. So if you're interested in staying on site, hit us up, myself or John Yarrington. You can find our email addresses on our website, but if you don't already have them, and you know, we'll get you on the waiting list and do our best to take care of you. There are a couple other hotels in the area that you can reach out to. So if you do reach out to us, we can share that information with you. So that's that for those questions. Yeah. So thank you everybody for listening today. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you in Miami Beach. If you haven't registered for the show yet, again, the pdmi.com/pdmi-east for details and to get registered. Your next opportunity to attend a live online Take 20 episode is Wednesday, March 30th. That's 2 weeks after the show, as the Brand Response Council gets together as a group at the end of Q1 to reforecast for 2022. Should be an interesting conversation with 3 months of perspective to inform it. Please visit the pdmi.com/take-20 to check out and register for the webinar. Thanks again for watching this episode of the Take 20. Be well, and we'll see you in Miami. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.